Hello ladies and gents, today's video is Origin, The Spirits of Past. It's a sci-fi romance movie released in 2006. The film itself is very beautiful and quite underrated if you ask me. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Origin Spirits of the Past is the story of Agito, a young boy living in a dystopian Japan set 300 years in the future. This apocalypse was brought about by extensive genetic engineering on trees, conducted at a research facility on Earth's moons in order to produce trees capable of growing in harsh, arid conditions. The trees became conscious and spread to Earth in a fiery holocaust, wiping out most of modern civilization and fragmenting the moon. Agito's world is covered mostly by the forest, a huge expanse of living trees ruled by the tree-like druids, which now inhabit the Earth and control the water supply of both trees and humans. Agito and his father, as well as his friends Kane and Minka, live in Neutral City, a city carved out of the ruined skyscrapers of an old metropolis. Neutral City acts as both a buffer and a bridge between the forest and the militaristic nation of Ragnar. While the people of Neutral City coexist peacefully with the trees of the forest, the nation of Ragnar aims to destroy the forest in order to return the world to the way it was before the mutant trees invaded. The movie starts with Agito and his friend Kane racing each other to see who can get to the waterhole at the bottom of the city first. By disturbing the sanctity of the waterhole and angering the druids, the two boys are separated, and Agito stumbles upon a large machine with cryogenic pods containing mostly dead bodies. Inside the only active pod, he finds Tula, a young girl who's been asleep for the past 300 years. He revives her, and right after reviving her, the forest drains all the water to kill her. Agito helps her and they reach a building buried deep down called the Stayfield Control Room. Tula uses her Raban, a portable personal electronic device worn as a necklace that can be used for communication and a variety of other tasks, to enter the building with Agito. After they manage to set out from the room, Agito shows her the neutral city they live in and invites her to live with him. But she's still confused about this strange situation of the world. She meets Yolda, an enhanced woman like Agito's and Kane's father. Acknowledging her as a past world human, she allows Tula to live in Neutral City, which made Agito and his friends happy. Yolda, as the city representative, asks the forest to release water, but the forest refuses to do so because of Tula. The forest angered by Tula's awakening since she carries a Raban. The forest fears that she'll fall into the hands of Shunak, a soldier of Ragnar and also a person from the past who's awakened from sleep, and that will use her Raban to locate E-Stock, the environmental regrowth defragmentation system, a powerful weapon with the ability to wipe out the forest and restore human control over the world. Shunak's the main villain of the film, and the best part about the film is that the antagonist's motives actually make sense. Instead of making someone purely evil, Shunak's character is multi-layered. The forest considers her the harbinger of destruction for both mankind and the forest. Ragnar City announced a reward for anyone who locates the person from the past. Agito and Kane got punished for their adventure in the forest. They got tasked with extraction work in a ruined building as a punishment. On the other hand, Minka was tasked with guiding Tula around the city. She took her to the main market of the city where people from all over the world gather to sell things in exchange for water. But because of the water shortage, water itself has become a currency. Then she showed Tula her working place, which was a bar. On their way back home, they filled buckets of water for use. Tula had a hard time carrying a single bucket because of her fragile physique. While leaving, Minka told her that she'll be the future wife of Agito. She said so because Agito seemed to be interested in Tula. Someone's trying to contact Tula by her Raban as it starts ringing suddenly. Then, Agito notices her walking to the forest and goes after her as it's dangerous there. He introduced his father to her, who was almost a tree with some remaining human body. Agito's father told her to accept this reality of humans if she wants to live in this world. Agito boasted about his father and other people who built this city on their own as a peaceful place for living. Shunak eventually finds out about Tula and marches into Neutral City with his army to persuade her to join him. The forest sends a giant creature to stop the meeting, which Shunak single-handedly destroys, revealing that he has been enhanced. He allowed himself to be genetically altered by the forest in order to become stronger by using the power of the trees. Convinced that finding E-Stock is the only way to restore the Earth back to the world which she once knew, Tula joins Shunak in his quest despite Agito's plea not to. Agito consults with his father, the founder of Neutral City, who, as a result of being enhanced and having overused his powers, has turned almost completely into a tree. With a few days left before becoming a tree completely, he encourages Agito to save the forest from Shunak's plan, since destroying the trees would mean the destruction of mankind as well. Agito journeys to the forest. Minka decides to go with her as she couldn't stop him. Minka's father stops her, telling her that it's Agito's decision and they should respect it. After entering the forest, he submits himself to the forest. The forest grants him powers, and he awakens with a new enhanced body with white silver hairs. Agito rushes to Ragnar, where Shunak took Tula. By using his enhanced body, he reached the city within minutes and destroyed the guarding machines with his powerful fists. Shunak ordered his men to attack him, but even the most powerful weapons were useless against him. The army of Ragnar uses sleeping gas on the orders of Shunak to capture him. They restrained him with big metal chains. Upon regaining consciousness, Agito sees Tula. He tries again to convince her, but she ignores his warnings. She leaves while telling him that it's for the best of mankind. Shunak secretly orders his men to kill Agito. He gathered all of his strength and used the power of the forest to break free from the chains. He rushes out and attacks the train with his tree-like hand. The army attacked him, but like always, it was no use. Shunak moves all the gunpowder to the back of the train and releases that compartment of the train. He then unleashes fire on the leftover block, causing it to blow off. Now, this particular sequence is quite intense. Agito sustained some injuries because of it and went mad with rage. Yolda finds him and helps him regain control of his body. She told him to control the enhanced powers by focusing his consciousness on the seed implanted within him by the forest. After calming down, Agito follows Shunak and Tula to Estock, which turns out to be a huge volcano converted into a mechanized weapon. Estock, as it turns out, was created by Tula's father, the doctor who'd begun the genetic research on the trees as a safeguard against the new species. Shunak betrays the Ragnar army and commandeers Estock, revealing his true intentions to use the weapon to clear his guilt. It so happens that Shunak worked on the original genetic alteration experiments on the trees, but becoming impatient, had tried to speed up the alteration process, leading to the catastrophic invasion of the mutant trees. A holograph of Dr. Sarkul, who's Tula's father, appears after the activation of Estock that explains everything about the machine and the destruction it can cause. The doctor ended the speech by giving the decision of using Estock to the people of Stayfield. The Ragnar army attacked the moving mountain Estock with all their weapons. The mountain activates weapons for counter-attacking. To the demise of the Ragnar army, the weapons were more advanced and powerful. The flames of war reach the neutral city, but Kane's father destroys the incoming meteors with his enhanced powers. When Tula learns that Shunak intends to activate Estock on Neutral City, destroying it completely in the process, she has a change of heart, tries to stop Shunak from activating Estock, but is quickly overwhelmed. Agito finds them and has a showdown with Shunak. To save Tula, he lets his enhancement take over and he transforms into a tree, essentially killing himself and Shunak in the process. Tula deactivates Estock while looking at the hologram of her father and the weapon begins to self-destruct. However, Tula refuses to leave without Agito, having developed strong feelings for him. Although Agito's body has been absorbed by the tree, his consciousness is intact on another plane, and there the forest reveals to him the truth about the relationship between itself and the humans. Agito learns that the genetic admixture that gives humans extraordinary strength and eventually turns them into trees is really a two-way exchange. It also changes the forest, causing trees to give birth to new humans in giant fruits. Shunak, having become one with the forest, finds peace with himself and no longer intends to fight Agito. The forest, seeing that Agito can teach humanity that there's no need for either hostility or separation between themselves and the trees, grants him his human form back, allowing him and Tula to escape before Estock erupts into flames. Having saved both the humans and the forest, Agito brings peace between all humans and the trees. Tula finally lets go of her past by throwing her Raban off a ledge down into the depths of the forest and learning to live in harmony with the trees at last. So basically, the film actually has a deeper message behind its plot. It portrays the horrors of climate change. So that was it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for similar videos.